What's up, everyone? Today we're making
干炒四季豆
stir-fried green beans. My name is Randy and we are the Laus. We're on a mission to celebrate and pass down our Chinese heritage, one meal at a time. After 50 amazing years as a Chinese chef, my dad's finally retired and he's here to teach you all of his secrets to make the perfect stir-fried green beans, a dish he's made thousands of times.
各位朋友，大家好啊！又見面啦！我哋今日做呢個咧乾炒四季豆。我哋今日用做嘅方法咧，就係用啲滾水咁啲油鹽咁煮一煮佢先至再嚟炒，就唔係好似餐館咁俾油炸啊。
For this recipe, we'll be using about 1 pound of green beans, which pales in comparison to the 27 million tons of green beans consumed every single year. Interestingly, while China produces around 75% of the world's green beans today, they are said to have originated in Central and South America thousands of years ago. Only in the past several hundred years did green beans become a staple of the typical Chinese diet, following the explosion of international maritime trade in the 1500s. These are often called string beans because long ago they used to have a thick, fibrous string that ran along the seam of the pod. Nowadays, through plant breeding, this thick string mostly no longer exists. Not to be confused with long beans or asparagus beans, which are about 1.5 feet in length and also common in Chinese cuisine. My parents prefer the common green bean, or COOKWARE in Cantonese, which are about 4 to 6 inches in length.
好啦，我哋而家先嚟切咗啲豆先嚇。我哋呢啲已經切好咗㗎啦。嗱，我而家話俾大家點樣切嚇。尖呢度咧切咗佢，下邊呢度咧有啲柄喺度嘅，就切咗佢，將佢切咗2橛就得啦。切好咗之後咧，我哋用啲水洗佢。
Okay, there's 2 people asking about the type of green beans. Can you use American green beans?
應該就冇乜分，不過豆有好多種類，呢隻就四季豆。green bean 四季豆成年都有嘅。
Long bean 就長豆咁啦，長豆
嚟嘅。
So you're not supposed to use the long ones for this one?
唔係咁嘅食法咯，呢啲長豆就冇到呢啲咁脆。
長豆係幾長？
好長啊！
咁係啊，咁長，豆角啊叫做 very slim and hard。
Yeah。
嗱，我哋就切啲配料啦，紅辣椒我俾半個夠啦，將佢切絲嚇，切成一條條。
To save time, as you chop the vegetables, you can start bringing a pot of water to a boil. Also, we have all of these ingredients listed on our blog at madewithlau.com, along with step-by-step instructions and video clips to guide you as you make the recipe at home.
呢啲咧係海鮮菇嚟嘅，我用半包嘅海鮮菇啊，2公錢多啲咁上下，將佢切開，長啲咧切到嗰兩邊，俾水洗佢。蒜頭咧13粒，將佢切埋，切片。呢啲紅椒仔咧2個，將佢切成一半。
Next, we'll briefly cook our green beans in our boiling water. Once our pot is boiling, we'll add 1 teaspoon of oil and 1 teaspoon of salt. Any type of oil works here. Add the green beans and cover the pot. Once the pot comes to a boil again, we'll drain the beans with a colander.
When you blanch it, do you need to dry it off? Does it need to be super dry before you stir fry it?
Okay. No.
俾佢液乾乾水
Just drain it.
Just drain it.
等啲豆滾咗，咁就可以得㗎啦。咁樣咧就保持啲豆青綠啲啊，有啲鹽同埋啲糖咧嗰啲油落去咧，將啲豆飛過水之後咧，煮過佢咧，嗰啲豆就會青綠啲㗎啦。
This whole process is really similar to blanching, minus the part where you'd plunge the vegetables in an ice bath or cold water to slow down the cooking process. This is also similar to how Chinese restaurants deep fry their green beans. A lot of you asked about this, but deep frying is typically how you get that signature wrinkly outer layer. My dad explained that in his restaurants, he'd have a 5-gallon pot of extremely hot oil running all day, and whenever a customer ordered green beans, he'd fry them for 5 to 10 seconds, rinse off some of the oil with water, and then stir fry them in sauce. The whole process only took about 2 to 3 minutes. At home, it takes a little longer, but he prefers boiling them because it's much healthier and still results in that perfect crunchy texture that we're going for. I'm pretty sure my dad knows dozens of green bean recipes, including the deep fried method, so let us know in the comments if you'd like to see more green bean recipes from us. I also wanted to make a special shout out to thank all of our wonderful Patreon supporters for helping bring this video to life. If you enjoy our videos and are interested in supporting us directly, head on over to patreon.com/madewithlau to learn more.
我而家咧就開始炒啦，燒隻鑊先，燒隻鑊。
We'll set the stove on high heat and let the wok heat for a few minutes. While we wait, we'll mix a small amount of cornstarch slurry with a half teaspoon of cornstarch and a half tablespoon of water. Then we'll add 2 tablespoons of corn oil and let that heat up until the oil is shimmering or forming ripples. Once the oil is hot enough, we'll start by cooking the garlic slices and chilies for 20 to 30 seconds, stirring constantly.
好，再俾啲豆落去。
We'll let the green beans cook for about 1 to 2 minutes.
慢慢炒佢，慢慢炒佢。
Next, we'll add our flavors with 1 tablespoon of ground bean sauce, 1 teaspoon of sugar, a half teaspoon of salt, and optionally, a half teaspoon of chicken bouillon. We'll stir and cook for another 1 to 2 minutes. For the ground bean sauce, it might get confusing since there are a few different types of Asian bean sauces out there. In Cantonese, we call it min si jiang, but most brands call it ground bean sauce in English. The sauce is made up with ground up fermented yellow soybeans and is packed with umami flavors. We have a link to buy the exact sauce my dad uses in our description.
味料落齊啦，我哋落埋啲青椒，同埋嗰啲紅椒絲咧，同埋啲海鮮菇一齊炒佢，再炒佢1分鐘就得啦。
Next, we'll re-stir our cornstarch slurry and pour it into the wok. Stir it around and cook for about 1 additional minute.
即係個意思，等啲因為啲四季豆咧，佢本身係冇乜味道嘅，我哋靠呢個，佢而家炒出落咗啲味之後，啲鹽啊嗰啲鹹嘢落去，炒咗嗰啲四季豆啲本身嘅汁出咗嚟，我哋將啲俾呢個薄嘅芡，將嗰啲汁收翻埋佢，黐翻啲豆喺度，咁啲豆咧就好食啦。 嗱，你試，你試，係嘛？嘢，炒好啦，而家開始上碟，好啦，好啦。 睇到乾炒四季豆，大功告成，食得。
King Cam，
King Cam.
多謝嘢，多啦。OK， 謝謝。
Cheers, Cammy.
四季豆。
Let's
see.
Yeah. It smells so good.
We have green bean every week. Every week for vegetable. Every week.
The mushrooms taste delicious.
Sometimes
Green beans, I think, are our favorite veggie too.
Yeah.
We have them all the time. Perfect.
What is this called?
呢啲係鴛鴦炒粉。
咁都炒粉啦，有啲米粉，有啲綠豆粉。鴛鴦即係有男有女叫做鴛鴦。
哦，
鴛鴦係嗰種雀嚟㗎。
雀係張雀。
好多時候嗰啲水度有啲湖嗰度有2隻雀喺度爬，佢鴛鴦2隻叫做鴛鴦，唔多啊。
When you're buying green beans at the store, how do you pick the best ones?
嫩，唔好老。嗱呢豆咪靚咯，呢條豆就靚過呢條豆啦，呢條老啲啦。即係佢入邊已經有啲一粒粒嘅喺度啦，好多老嘅一粒粒喺度啦。
Oh.
呢條靚啲，呢度冇咁靚咯。
I mean bean inside. Yeah, bean. So let me break it. So
Yeah.
So this is a bean. So you can see the bean is there. But if all this,
Yeah, the thinner one.
the thin one, the bean is still inside, but it's very very small.
Yeah.
So this is a really really young one. Really really young one. This one's a little older. So the younger one is very easy to break.
Yeah.
Very easy to break. But this one it is kind of a little bit hard to break. So.
Okay.
So you use more strength to break. For me, when I pick green bean, I will pick first. I look at the color. The color is so green, right? Fresh green.
Yeah. If you have the brown spots, you don't like that, right?
The brown spot, yeah, probably, yeah.
So like when you're actually at the store, because you're getting like a pound, right? How do you quickly do this?
At the store, a lot of time when we buy green bean, we can pick one by one. They come with the bag. If the color is good, it's not so many like a older bean inside.
Yeah.
And then I will pick for that. The young one is best.
Okay.
The young one. 廣東話叫嫩啊 Cam's age is 嫩。
爺爺就老啊，爺爺就老啦，真係啊，爺爺就老，唔該又嫩咯，就
Somebody had asked, can you use frozen green beans to make this dish, or do they need to be fresh?
或者得㗎，咁解凍咪得咯，凍
佢可
豆
能會軟啲唔得哦，因為凍過啊。
都得。
We never try, but we think so.
10 people? 10 people asked this in different ways. 10個人問呢個。
問咩？
How do you make it the perfect texture, like tender, not overcooked, and crunchy?
唔知一個咧最好嘅就油炸，但係油炸我哋屋企通常咁油炸，油炸就一定會脆，好脆好脆。嗱，喺屋企咧我哋用啲大煲啲滾水，俾啲油，俾啲鹽落去，猛火啲煲佢，豆擺咗落去滾咗之後咧，再一流起佢，咁佢咪好似而家咁啦。
因為要加啲油同鹽。
因為啲油同啲鹽咧就保持佢綠色。
If it's too mushy, did that mean that they boiled it too long? And if it's too crunchy, does it mean they didn't boil it long enough?
係啊，如果係硬咧，係太硬咧就煲啲時間唔夠長啦。
Yes.
如果煲得時間長咧，佢又腍得滯啦。另外一個問題睇你啲豆係老定嫩嘅豆。好似啲嫩佢好似我哋啲豆咁靚嘅豆咧，滾水擺落去，等佢啲水滾一滾流開氣㗎啦，咁就好靚啦。你話但係如果啲豆係老啲嘅咧，有啲買翻嚟啲豆係唔靚冇咁叻，你就要煲耐啲啦。點啊？
可唔可以攞豆豉嚟煮喎？
得，你中意啊？
Yeah?
有得嘅？
Yeah, I love black sauce.
我哋煮過俾佢食咩？
煮過食過啦，俾把豆豉煮過啦。
Yes, we cook for you. You don't remember?
方法係咪一樣啊？
差唔多咯。
Just the sauce， 淨係個
sauce唔同。
淨係 sauce 唔同。The way to cook is the same。
我呢度係用嗰啲麵豉嗰啲，如果唔用麵豉，我咪用嗰啲豆豉咯。
Okay.
一樣啫嘛。
You can have an option.
Yeah, I think I've had this like 10 different ways.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
20, 30. 喺餐館要炸幾耐啊？
快脆嘅啊！一炸咁佢幾秒鐘就得啦。炸完之後咧，佢裝著俾佢有個大嘅水鑊裝住啲水喺度啊嘛，喺度扭佢，即係佢咁啲油，冇炒得咁多油，咁咪喺度跟住呢隻鑊炒嗰啲咩料啊？如果啲雞啊雞炒咁就得咩乾片4個豆咁咪落佢嗰啲料落去，好快脆啫，一陣間出得嚟，好快脆。
For the restaurant business, you have to have the hard part, the oil part, because the order come in sometimes is 30, 40 order come in.
Yeah.
One dish just like a few minutes have to be finished. That is really, really fast. Daddy's hand just like a machine.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 machine. No time to talk to someone else.
Yeah.
Just keep doing, really, really fast. I cannot imagine be a cook working so hard.
Yeah.
And serve
So
the
many
people,
hours.
so many hours, long hours. So a lot of immigrant, the first generation work in the restaurant, they have no choice, right? No background. This is the skill then make them survive, raise the family, raise the kid. A second generation, nobody want to do restaurant. Nobody.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
All my family, the first generation they do restaurant, but second generation, since the kid was born here, get education here, they have their ability to live. No one do restaurant anymore. You don't know how is that hard work. The food, even you pay for that, this come from a lot of chefs hard work.
We're going hungry. So crazy.
He just doesn't want to be sick. He's happy sick.
What was your first memory?
First memory it is the China life. In here we never worry about food. When you open the refrigerator, there's so much food.
Yeah.
When you go to the market, there's so much food there. When I see green bean, when I see cabbage, when I see bok choy, always remember when I was young. Always remember the day we was live very like a parent life.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
Yeah.
So green bean, it is childhood vegetable for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
So did you learn to cook it many different ways? Or you ate it a lot of the times the same ways?
A lot of time I use minci or black bean sauce to cook. I like to put more garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like a lot of garlic inside. I love garlic. Này, đang nhìn vô không? Nhìn vô.
Mới nghĩ hết rồi. Nghĩ nó mua quá rồi. Nghĩ nó mua quá. Này lý rồi.
Yeah.
So cute. Daddy's silly, huh? Daddy's silly, huh?
Hello, all our fans and all our audience. Thank you for your support. Subscribe, like, share, and see you next time. Bye. Hương tới say bye.